Hey, look, I don't normally do this sort of thing, but let's have a go anyway. Some time back I put in a bid at an auction to win a new backpack. Backpack was donated to the organisers, and the backpack was stuffed full of camping equipment, but I didn't know what was on it. Well, I knew what the backpack was worth, so that's what I bid, and as far as I'm concerned, I won, and everything inside comes for nothing. And it included one of these. It's, oh my god, it's an emergency survival tin. God, there are so many videos on YouTube about these things. I don't really know why I'm adding to it. Well, I am. I'm adding to it because this is just the worst thing for so many reasons. Let's have a look. Let's see what is inside our ill-fitting lid. Where would you even start? I did have a look at this when I got it and put it away, and then somebody sent me a video about another one. It reminded me. Let's have a look. Well, let's not have a look until we've had a think about it. If you're hiking, you don't need this if you're properly prepared. Because if you're hiking, something goes wrong, you're in the bush, you need to have everything with you anyway to cover a situation like that. You need to be able to survive out there. So in your backpack, you should have what it takes to survive 24 hours in the bush, because that's about as long as it's going to take for somebody to miss you. So you don't need this. You should have it anyway. And, you know, when it comes to keeping it in the glove box of the car, no, not really, because when you're talking about the car, you can easily fit in something like that, which you could make into a reasonable emergency kit. You know, it's going to keep it dry. There's enough in there to keep everything. Things like that. The life straw, which will filter literally hundreds of gallons of water. It's not the best, not saying it is, but it fits in there, it goes in the car, it doesn't fit in there. So that's why this is better than that for the car. And this, when you're hiking, should be redundant, because you should have everything with you anyway as part of your normal kit, not as an emergency kit, just as a part of your normal kit. So let's get into this thing and have a look. Okay, well, look, the first category then is going to be fire. So a tiny box of matches, okay. With a tiny box of matches, you could light a candle. So you get this. And what is that? What even is it? It's not even a tea light. That's a tea light. It's 1/3 of a tea light. Like, what were they thinking? Okay. So, fire. You get a striker, and I think I fiddled with this. I think this fire steel came with it. I can't remember. I can remember this one being next to useless. So how's that going to help you? If you look at a proper fire steel, you can get a spark off it. What good is a spark when you've got no tinder? Wouldn't you carry a little satchel with some cotton balls soaked in Vaseline? These aren't actually soaked in Vaseline. Let's put that there. Let's put that there. Let's soak it in isopropyl alcohol instead. Let's see if we can light a fire. Look, that wasn't too difficult, okay? So, there's that. That doesn't work, that's a piece of shit. That's a fire steel you'd want to substitute. Oh, let's have a look. Here we go. This is the next thing. Okay, a whistle, that's good. It's even got a compass. That's good. And it's a damped compass. Okay. The end comes off. Inside, yay! We've got more matches. Now these are strike anywhere, waterproof, windproof and everything. Yeah, okay. That should get a fire going, provided you can find some tinder. It's got a signalling mirror, is it? A proper signalling mirror needs to be the size of a shaving mirror with a hole in the middle, or not necessarily in the middle, so as you can objectify where you're directing the sun. This is complete guesswork. So it's cheap, it's cheesy, it's not nice, it's a pea whistle, not my favourite. What else we got? A safety razor blade. A safety razor has a blade on either side. A very, very sharp blade. Well, what are you going to do with it? Skin a rabbit like that? You're going to slice your fingers to bits. It's a waste of time. Nice and sharp, but a waste of time. But look, wait. You get some sort of X-Acto blade or craft knife. Yeah. I don't think so. What else is in here? Let's have a look. Oh, okay. I haven't tried this. I don't know if it's any good. It's a saw. This particular one is diamond encrusted, industrial diamond. And it's got all sorts of swivels and things. So yeah, I suppose you could. You don't do it like that. You can't say. You put something through their hoops, and yeah, with this action, you can maybe cut down a few branches. But yeah, I would have thought that's a limited use in a sort of overnight situation. But it's there. What else we got? Yeah, earplugs. Yeah, but when I'm lost in the bush, put my earplugs in because you don't want to be disturbed by a helicopter or a plane that might actually save your skin, or a group of bushwalkers or SES volunteers. What do you need earplugs for? Why is that in the emergency kit? Unless it's part of this, which is a fishing kit. You could use the earplugs as a float, but you could use a twig or a piece of wood as a float. So again, the question is why. The fishing kit has got a bit of line on it. You definitely should be able to get a hook in the water with that. You can use petals of little flowers for bait. It's got a couple of those split lead, yeah, split lead shot. So yeah, assuming you could get that off without tangling it all up, get it out without tangling it up, and put it in, transfer it onto a stick or something. Yeah, you could possibly catch a fish with that. I don't see why not. What do we got here? A cheap and nasty pocket knife with all those Outback essentials like can opener, blunt as old arseholes. Haven't got any cans of food anyhow. Oh, bottle opener. We haven't got any bottles of beer. Corkscrew. Don't have any wine either. But wait, we've got one of them, whatever that is. Intended to be some sort of awl. Well, some thread would have been a good idea then. It's so blunt, it's useless. There's a little file in there. You can see it. Oh, Phillips screwdriver. Yay. Yeah, you want a Phillips screwdriver out there. What else have we got? Blade. It says it's stainless. Oh, it might be. Blunt. What's this thing? A saw. Blunt. There's something else in there. What's this? Oh, jeez. I can't get it out. But I think it's a pair of scissors. Okay, well, it's better than having nothing. But you should have a decent knife with you if you're out bushwalking. You should have a decent knife in one of those. And lots of other things. Anyway, let's not get bogged down. Oh yeah. A couple of masonry nails. Now these would be super useful if I had a hammer. No, I'm joking. What is the point? What is the point? Where are they going with that? Last item of contents, an emergency rescue blanket. 130 by 210. 2.1 meters is 3 feet 4, so that's 6 foot 8 plus 3, 6 foot 11 in length. 1.3, so that's 3 feet 4 feet 4 foot 4 wide. Yeah, that'll do the job. That'll keep you warm. Might help to keep you dry. That's not usually a problem in Australia, but it can be. Oh yeah, something like that. But this whole kit is missing so much stuff, and there's so much stuff that is in that shouldn't be. This thing, I hate it. Let's get rid of that. What are we going to put in its place? Well, what about a SOLAS whistle, which doesn't cost more than, I don't know, 50 cents? Safety of life at sea, it's life jacket approved. You'd have one of those. What else do we get in there? Oh, compass. Let's find us a compass. I haven't got a button compass here on a handy, but let's pretend that's a button compass. So that goes in. What else have we got? Oh, a good little compass. That won't fail you. You could have that instead. It's still much less than that. Oh, but there are matches inside that thing, so... Well, look, we've demonstrated that we can light a fire with our fire lighter. But let's throw in a big lighter. Look at the size of it. And you can get them half this size. This thing... I don't know, I was going to do a burn time on that, but if I did, then I wouldn't have it to show you how tiny it was. So, if you were going to have a candle, have a proper candle. But light is important. So whether or not you have one of these, you need something better. Now, these aren't expensive. This is a super little flashlight. It's just a momentary flash, or you can turn it on. It's only got one setting. You wouldn't want to be using it as a comfort light if you're lost and lonely and scared. But again, it doesn't take up any space. A little keychain flashlight this size. This is a Nitecore tube. Okay, it's a lithium rechargeable battery. It's not going to stay charged forever. I'm using this just to demonstrate that on its lower setting, that little light will last 48 hours continuous, and it'll give you a comfort light, which raises the mood. You know, because it's dark as dark out there at night. No matter what the moon and stars are doing, it's dark as dark. But this little light, it's got a low setting, it's got a high spontaneous setting, it's got anything in between. You know, it's tiny. Let's think about this. Do you really want any of the shit that's on that? For the size of it, size and weight constraints, you could have a decent Leatherman if you're a Leatherman sort of person. This is Leatherman Wingman, so you get rid of that. Put that in. Is it too big? Oh, maybe it is. Maybe you could use a little knife, like that. It's got a saw, a gougey thing. I think this is an electrician's knife or something. Very sharp blade, tradesman, cheap chisel. You could have had that instead. What else are your options? I mean, a knife is almost the #1 option in a survival kit. It makes us feel safe and useful and roughy-tufty. You get a little knife like that in. There's a Boker. Super, super sharp blade. Oh, what about this? This is from Buck. Again, super sharp, one-hand opening. Why wouldn't you? This could be better in so many ways. What else have we got? Well, we don't need those because we're going to use a twig if we're going to catch a fish, right? So let's get rid of that. We don't need that because it doesn't work, so you'd have to substitute it with one of these. Let's put that rather dangerous high voltage module out of the way. The saw, it's overnight, I don't know. Do you really need a saw? I don't think so. I don't think so. If you can light a fire, if you've got a little torch, a flashlight, you don't need that. You probably don't need that. You've got 2 ways of starting fire. You definitely don't need this. You slice your fingers through ribbons. You don't need that. You've got a proper blade on your knife. And masonry nails? No, not really. This is a striker. You don't need a striker if you've got a decent knife. Oops, he says. Yeah. Nice, got a bit of coating on the back or something. So, yeah, the fishing kit, yeah, we're going to catch a fish. So, but the tin wasn't full in the first place, and this is what we're going to keep, and we're probably only going to keep one of those lights. We'll keep that. That could be useful. But I couldn't use that fishing kit personally without a Fresnel lens, because my eyes aren't good enough to thread a needle. So I'd have to put a little lens in there. It doesn't take up any space, so why wouldn't you do that? Wouldn't you put a bag in there? A bag can hold water. You can wrap the branch of a tree, the leafy bit on the end, leave it in the sun, and it'll fill up with condensation in a half an hour in Australian sun. You could make a stone and cup condensation trap using your tin to catch the water. Okay, doesn't take up any space. Wouldn't you want to have a few tablets, your diarrhea tablets, ibuprofen, I don't know, a couple of paracetamol, couple of hay fever pills, definitely diarrhea relief, because you don't have a lot of sanitation out there. But you could fit that in. That'll get your hands clean. You know, useful things like bands. Oh, transporting water. This will transport water. It won't break. It doesn't take up any room. Wouldn't you want the few pages out of a notepad? A pencil? Yeah. And this thing holds water, so why not chuck in a couple of tea bags or a couple of coffee straws to lift the morale? Are you dehydrated because you're out in the bush? Hydration salts. Doesn't take up any space. A little bit of cordage. 101 uses. A few cable ties. Some gaffer tape wrapped around an old credit card. There's some way of finding the end if it's dark or if you haven't got your glasses. Twine, that takes up no space. Chuck it in. You see, this could all have been so much better in so many ways. And I pity the poor bugger who chucks this in his pocket and thinks he's good to go. Even if he has his tea bags and his coffee. Trouble is, it doesn't even hold water. So good luck boiling up a cup of tea with that. Like I said, I think these things are redundant anyway. You don't need this if you're properly set up. If you're in your car, even if you're in your motorcycle, small ammo box, small ammo can, much better. You can get proper survival gear in that. It's a waste of time, guys. Thanks for watching.